Even as a young college student, have you ever had trouble navigating a website, or have you had trouble trying to figure out different kind of social media platforms? I am positive that you will answer yes to this question, and that is because at some point we all have. I'm here today to inform you about my communication concept curator project, which centers around group phases. I am Mary Blair, and I am a sophomore here at Youngstown State University. I chose this topic for the particular reason that I wanted to learn more about a group dynamic, especially in the workplace. I also wanted to experience curating a site based around this topic. First, I will talk about the function of the site, next my successes and failures, and finally I'll wrap it up with my ideas for the future. To begin, I would like to discuss the functions of my site. So the functions of my site are as follow. I like to call it my homepage accessibility in a sense, which is easy to find information essentially, and the information's right there in front of you. Now, I will later discuss this in the failures portion of this speech, but I kind of find it difficult to construct this website a little bit. And when I was trying to create a ton of different pages for this website, I later found out that why would I be trying to create a ton of different pages for a site when I personally don't like clicking through a ton of different things to get to what I want to see. So I have all of my information all on one page. So you don't have to click through a ton of different things to try to get to the information you want. It is all right there in front of you. I also like about my site that the information is just blatantly right there. You don't have to try to navigate and have that difficulty trying to find information. Next, I'd like to talk about the content on my site, which I find particularly interesting. There are 2 to 3 educational videos on the site which talk about group phases and the different phases a group goes through, especially in the workplace or a team. There's also different kinds of blog posts about different exercises you can do with your new group. There's also an interview with an employer and an owner of a company that discusses their different kind of successes and failures with different kinds of group phases. Wrapping up with the function of my site, I will now discuss my successes and failures. So my personal success that I thought was good was I have easy, accessible information. Because like I stated previously, you don't want to be clicking through a ton of different things because then the viewer is just going to click off your site and go elsewhere. All the information is right in front of you. And that was a personal success for me. As well as the different videos I incorporated onto my site, I thought that those were very educational and can give the viewer exactly what they're looking for. Next, let's talk about my failures. So some failures I had in this curating project was that I particularly found Weebly as kind of more difficult to work with. Completely constructing the website was very difficult for me. I found that when I was trying to insert a text or insert a picture, the white space and the spacing would all be thrown off, and that would be very frustrating because you have to go back and delete and move everything around, which just gets very repetitive and very frustrating. I also just thought that when you were inserting a video, it could be kind of difficult if you were trying to insert something from YouTube in there. You kind of have to go through all these different steps to actually get it onto the page. And also, you always have to make sure you're saving your work and submitting it at the end, or else your website will not update the edits that you just previously made. Moving on from my successes and failures, let's move on to my ideas for the future. So my ideas for the future include maybe gaining some more experience in website building, so I can help make this site more appealing to a viewer. And I also thought it would be cool to learn how to give the viewer something to interact with, some feedback that I could see as a curator to see if they like the site, what I could change about the site, if there's pictures, videos, content that is interesting for them. Next, I would like to provide more interesting information and learn how to maybe promote the site a little more. Like I just stated previously, I did have very straightforward information on this site, and I would also like to learn how to promote this site on many other social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and that would bring more viewers onto the site. Because if you go on someone's social media page and they're like, oh, look at this group phases website. I'm an employer, I'm a manager, I'm an owner, and I would like to learn more about this. Let me go click on it. So I think it would be cool to maybe learn more about that, incorporate that more in the site. So to wrap it up today, did you have any of the similar difficulties that I had while curating my website? My guess is you probably did. Today we talked about the site I curated based upon group phases. To sum up everything we discussed about today, we talked about the functions of my site, including my homepage accessibility and different kinds of content on my site. We then moved into my successes and failures, my successes being easy to find information and valuable information being put onto my site. My failures being the construction of my website and the platform was being very difficult to work with. Then we finally concluded it with my ideas for the future, which were gaining more experience in website building and making the site more appealing for the viewer, as well as providing even more interesting information for the viewer and learning how to maybe promote my site on different social media platforms. So remember, curating a site is awfully difficult, but if you have straightforward information and easy to find information on your site like I did on mine, your viewers will always find you as a success. Thank you.